This is just a friendly reminder that it's not your PCOS, it's not your cortisol, and it's not your carbohydrate intolerance that's preventing you from losing weight. It's your elbow. Every time your elbow bends, your fucking mouth opens.
I try really hard to keep all of my reaction videos super positive. Maybe this one's just too personal for me. As a former obese individual myself who hit 300 pounds, having been there in the past, I can have a great laugh at this. But had you showed me this video when I was 16, whew, that shit would have hurt. The reality is, many of you guys do need a swift kick in the ass, and me of all people love being that individual to tell you that you need to try harder. But truthfully, there are many of you out there that really are victims of your own physiology, and this isn't an issue of lack of mental toughness or lack of inability to try hard enough. This is you versus your body, and you're losing the battle. There is a large body of evidence that points to an entirely different explanation for obesity and weight loss struggles. One that doesn't disprove the calories and energy balance as the problem. This model explains it to be a problem, but not the problem that you need to be focusing on. Let me try to explain. Yes, there is a consciousness and mental toughness piece to this energy equation, this energy balance. Stop eating, go exercise. That's all you got to do. It's completely within your conscious control. Comically, I have to point out that this is the entire focus for the past half a century, and it's never worked, yet this is still being pushed, and why I felt like I needed to make this video. Being in a compromised metabolic state. Let me simplify this by saying insulin resistance leads to chronically elevated insulin levels, which they call hyperinsulinemia. When you are in this state, it's like your body is working against you. Things like massive increases in hunger, things like metabolic rate, the amount of calories that you burn, being turned down against your control. Think about it. You can't control when you are hungry or when you're not. You can't control how many calories you burn at rest. In my professional opinion, this altered metabolic state that I'm oversimplifying by calling insulin resistance is the reason why many of you are unable to get into the caloric deficit that he and many other people oversimplify as the end-all be-all. But the actual end-all be-all is whether you can get into that caloric deficit or not, whether your body's working with you or against you is the part that he and many others fail to seem to understand. When you're in this altered metabolic state, you will lose this battle. The data is very clear on this. And I'm okay with this statement being true too as well, because it does coincide with my opinion that if you were able in these altered metabolic states to get the job done, focusing on calories, then you were one of the few that were mentally tough enough to override your body. Unfortunately, the majority of you can't, or you were never in this altered metabolic state to begin with. And if you're not insulin resistant, if you don't have metabolic issues, then being overweight is simply an issue of reducing your calories, increasing your expenditure. That's all you need to do. For him or any other creator that wants to make content that puts people down, even though you have this enthusiastic passion to help people, consider a reality where you might be wrong.